The primary scene includes a secondary school young lady named Tsukiko, who has serious areas of strength for an energy of photography. Thus, she generally has a camera in her grasp, and she is likewise an individual from the photography club in secondary school. At some point, Tsukiko is getting back with her dearest companion, Yoshi. All through the day, she keeps on clicking pictures of environmental elements as well as of Yoshi. A brief time later, Tsukiko detects her senior stepsister, Tomie, who likewise goes to a similar secondary school. Tomie is right now seen with a person named Toshio, an individual whom Tsukiko covertly respects. This makes her incredibly envious, however, she doesn't allow it to show up all over. As Tomie sees them, she waves her hand and demands Tsukiko to click a couple of pictures of her. Amazed this, Tomie says that she knows her stepsister is envious of her relationship with Toshio. This leaves Tsukiko confused, provoking her to quit taking the photos. Seconds after the fact, a steel cross from an underdevelopment building coming through towards Tomie and entered her neck, bringing about her troublesome end. Seeing this, a shell stunned Tsukiko drops her camera. At the point when the camera strikes the ground, it clicks a few pictures all alone. 1 year passes after this episode, and we see that Tsukiko's day-to-day routine is gradually returning to ordinariness. Notwithstanding, she actually experiences pain and repeating bad dreams over her stepsister passing. The scene then at that point slices to Tomie's 18th birthday celebration, where her folks, joined by Tsukiko, lounge around a birthday cake in her honor. They sing her a cheerful birthday melody and celebrate for some time. In the middle of this, there is a thumb on their entryway. At the point when Tsukiko goes to respond to it, she sees a frightening shadow behind the entryway, who calls herself Tomie. This startling appearance profoundly disrupts Tsukiko, driving her to bring her rapidly guardians. Expecting it to be a trick, the dad of some sort or another, Masashi, opened the entryway, just to be dumbfounded by the genuine return of Tomie, whose excellence sparkles considerably more brilliant than previously. Regardless of getting some margin to settle, the guardians are excited to see their little girl alive, and they invite her back in therapeutic years. In the interim, Tsukiko is confused by illogical marvel. The next morning, she sees an uncommon sight where her dad is smelling and even licking Tomie's hair during breakfast. When addressed, he asserts that he misses Tomie so much that it is only his affection toward his little girl. Still unconvinced by his reaction, Tsukiko ventures out into the nursery just to find her mom consuming every one of photos she had taken. She rapidly attempts to stop her, yet Tomie in the middle between, igniting a conflict between the kin. The fight closes with Tomie colliding with the wall. Seeing this, Masashi becomes chaffed and rashly slaps Tsukiko immediately. Following this, Tomie figures out how to get Masashi to whip Tsukiko across the back with a steam iron link as discipline for not showing love toward her. In the consequence, Tsukiko goes to scrap down, and before long, Tomie joins her. At last, the washroom lights begin to flash, and thus Tsukiko feels at peace dressed. Conversely, Tomie has an unpleasant errand all over, and she before long returns to kiss her stepsister. Feeling uncomfortable, Tsukiko drives her away and attempts to leave, yet Tomie stops her. Her conduct begins turning out to be progressively odd and unusual as she shows Tsukiko the scar on her neck. That scar starts to develop into disturbed talking cancer. The sight shocks Tsukiko, so she takes off from what she considers a colossal presence. Hearing this, Tsukiko flocks censure her and requests a statement of regard to Tomie. At one time, Tomie returns in an apparently ordinary state, considering how she could allude to her as a beast. She additionally communicates that she is annoyed and chooses to take off from the house. In spite of the guardian endeavors to stop her, Tomie stays unflinching in her choice. All at once, something takes over Masashi. She mercilessly cuts Tomie with a blade, killing her on the spot. He quickly laments his activities, yet it is past the point of no return as his daughter is by and by dead. The following morning, Tsukiko observes a grisly scene in the washroom, where her folks are dismantling Tomie's body. During this demonstration, Tsukiko identifies a development in Tomie's eye, surprising her briefly. Not long after, the mother discards Tomie's head by discarding it in the garbage can. She then at that point goes to set up Tsukiko's school lunch, during which she unintentionally drops a few lumps of Tomie's tissue and hair in it. While at school, the school educator acquaints everybody with another understudy, who bears a striking likeness to Tomie. This ends Tsukiko into a condition of frenzy, in spite of the fact that she figured out how to smother her feelings inside. During the midday break, she trusts in her dearest companion about his disrupting occasion. In any case, her companion excuses it as simple discernment. Following this, Sukiko opens her lunchbox just to find a few small heads of zombies inside. Overpowered by fretfulness, she escapes and tosses the lunchbox into garbage. At the point when Yushi goes to search for Sukiko, she hears a few ghostly sounds from the west, provoking her to examine. Startlingly, the smaller than expected Tomie sets arise and shook Yushi with their long tongues, unfortunately ending her life. In the interim, at home, Tommy's cut-off head passes from the garbage can and manipulatively trains her dad to kill his significant other so she can benefit from her body. Then, in spite of starting hesitance, Masashi capitulates to Tommy's impact. Back at school, Toshi approaches Sukiko and hears a discussion with her. He communicates his real worry for the trouble she has been comforting of late. Hearing him being so caring, Sukiko can recite the Arch of Brain. However, Toshio, who accepts that she has incredible photograph expertise, asks her to catch a few pictures of him during his judo training. Energetically, she concedes to his solicitation. Afterward, as Sukiko goes into the judo training room with her camera, she starts capturing Toshio. All at once, Tomie appears all over a sudden, moves Toshio to a duel. The last option is shock to her alive, so he doesn't answer her test. He then endeavors to converse with her. Yet Tomie imagines that she doesn't have any acquaintance with him. As the duel starts, Tomie easily brings Toshio down and kisses him before everybody. After the school, Toshio shows up back home and notification a troubling scene, her dad hitting his head into a point of support. At the point when she questioned him about her mom's whereabouts, he leaves without offering a reaction. Afterward, we see Masashi taking care of his significant other tissue of Tommie's head in the garbage can. The next day at school, Sukiko sees Toshio passing by her and afterwards leaving in Tommie's organization. This profoundly disheartens Sukiko, who then at that point advanced toward the printing room to print a few duplicates of her photos. There she experiences her companion Yushi, who uncovers a growth of her neck that is comparable to the one Tomie had before. Yet again this unnerves Sukiko, provoking her to run away from the area. Yushi seeks after her and goes into the judo club room, where she is gone up against by individuals from the club. After seeing the cancer on Yushi's neck, they quickly choose to remove it. The gathering then at that point hold her tight and one of them continues to behead it. In any case, they ingloriously execute her head rather than the cancer. As everybody watches with sickening dread, the headless body revives and begins chasing after the judo class individual. Somewhere else, Sukiko goes over Toshio, who is seen wandering Tomie. Similarly, as Toshio returns to his detects, another Tomie arises out of the blood and starts kissing him. This wrecks Sukiko in light of the fact that she feels Tomie has removed her sweetheart from her. Overpowered by feeling, she winds up wounding both Toshio and Tomie to death. As she takes off, she is indeed pursued by Yushi, whose head has now changed into the cancer. In the following scene, a frightened Sukiko conceals in a room, locking the entryway behind her. Inside, she finds a little garbage can from which Tommie's head arises. Not long later, one more circle of Tomie show up from a pantry, her body covered in blood. Besides, Yushi likewise breaks into the room and gradually propels towards Sukiko. Similarly, as she is going to be cornered by a few variants of Tomie, she suddenly wakens in her bed at home, uncovering that everything was a fantasy. As well, Sukiko then at that point makes a beeline for the feasting corridor, where her folks are pausing for breakfast in a totally ordinary setting. Seeing her bothered face, they ask about the matter. Accordingly, Sukiko describes the bad dream include her stepsister. Confounded by her word, her folks bring that she is lone youngest and never had a sister. Confounded, Sukiko look around for photos and understand that there are no any photo of Tomie. Pausing for a minute to lotion up herself, he moans in hell, accepting that she just had a troubled dream. Sadly, soon after a couple of seconds, Sukiko's expectation ends up being focused when she sees her dad consuming hair. Her mom's head, extending strangely to where it shows up practically rearranged. Her folks then pursue her, provoking Sukiko to run toward the launch. There a tremendous expression of Tomie's face shows up in the mirror, calling out Sukiko. Simultaneously, Sukiko's mom moves toward her with a kitchen blade in her grasp. Nonetheless, before any damage should be possible, a predatory centipede made from Tommie's head assaults her mom. Taking advantage of the chance, Sukiko chooses to run higher up to her room. However, she is pokey by the surprising experiences of the Toshio and Yushi. They savagely uncovered their actual sentiments, conceding that they had never preferred her and were simply imagining to be her companions from the start. Driven by dread and treachery, Sukiko pushes them down the step, after which they are both went after by Tomie's centipedes. Inside her room, Sukiko is again defied by the approaching presence of Tomie's tremendous head. Worn out of taking off, she at long last decides to confront her. In this way, begins conversing with her. She asks about Tomie's genuine character and thought processes. Accordingly, Tomie claims that she typifies everybody Sukiko really forces on, her folks, Toshio, moreover Yushi too. Tomie likewise concedes that she has been removing every last bit of her friends and family just to make her endure. Furthermore, presently she communicates that she wants Sukiko's body as she needs to occupy her. Hearing this, Sukiko understands that she cannot get by with these studied dreams. She then at that point acknowledges her destiny and chooses to satisfy Tomie's longings, rather than kicking the basket without reason. As the sisters accommodate, the Tomie centipedes start to infringe upon Sukiko. In the repercussion of these occasions, Sukiko is shown leaving the house, having become one of the rendition of Tomie. Meandering through the road, she finds different lady, a large number of being them, Tomie's rendition. Before long, she runs into a more bizarre who requests that she go with her to his loft. In the last scene, we see Sukiko in the loft, being exposed to different stabbings by the outsider. As she lies on the floor, she looks at the mirror and holds pieces of her unique character. In any case, the reflection she sees in the mirror is of Tomie, her unique stepsister, who requires as to whether she is cheerful. The film closes as the two sisters share a twisted giggles. Their looks locked on each other.